Welcome back. Well, you've just seen a conversation around the public protector, Advocate Mkhwebane. The High Court in Pretoria ruling today that it was going to set aside her findings and her report into the Estina dairy matter. When the matter first came to public attention, it involved the then Free State Premier Mkhwebane, now, of course, the Secretary-General. At the heart of this case, it seemed at least, was the fact that she did not consider whether he was guilty of wrongdoing or speak to him. The spokesperson for the public protector is Segalwe on the line to us now. Mr. Segalwe, good evening. Thank you so much for talking to us. What is your reaction to this court ruling today?
Well, the public protector was taken by surprise because the court effectively went back on its own word. You will recall that it had indicated earlier that it would hold on to this judgment to await the outcome of the Constitutional Court on the personal cost case before handing down judgment in this regard. So it's not clear what caused the court to make an about turn on that. In our view, the initial approach from which the court has now departed was plausible because the judgment the court has now delivered relies on the appealed judgment whose outcome the Constitutional Court is yet to deliver. But the public protector fundamentally disagrees with today's ruling. Among other things, she's concerned that in setting aside the entire report, the ruling might be interpreted as though the court condones the maladministration attributed to the parties against whom adverse findings were made in terms of that particular report.
That's strong language you're using there, that she strongly disagrees with the ruling. Does that mean that she is going to appeal it, or are you going to add it to other cases? Are you going to go directly to the Constitutional Court on this one?
Well, right now she's weighing her options. On the one hand, she wants to, apply for leave to appeal to the Supreme Court of Appeal. But on the other hand, she's toying around with the idea of applying for direct access to the Constitutional Court to deal with that particular matter. And at this point, she doesn't wish to argue the merits of her case in the media, as she will express herself in the court. However, she wishes to register her astonishment at the ruling, given that during arguments in that particular case in October last year, her counsel went to great lengths to make essentially 3 points. The first was that she could not have investigated the allegations contained in the third and the last complaint in that matter, which was received around May 2016. As at that point, the investigation was pretty much wrapped up. And then two, she could not have investigated issues that were in the public space at the time, such as the so-called Gupta leaks, because it is this very office in the state of capture report that directed that a commission of inquiry be established to look into allegations of state capture. Now, the suggestion that she should have launched a parallel investigation to look into exactly that is somehow illogical. And lastly, there has been suggestions that she should have, rubber-stamped and converted into a final report, the provisional report that she found when she joined office. She does not agree with that view because a provisional report is essentially a working document which can be equated to a draft judgment of a full bench circulated amongst the judges for comments. Until it has been delivered in court, it can never be a court judgment.
I suppose in the end what this might boil down to, in the public mind at least, Opa, is why did she not speak to or attempt to get more information from Mkhwebane? He seems to be the central figure in all of this. The original claims linked him to this failed project. He was the Premier of the Free State at the time. I mean, is there an argument as to why she did not sort of seek to investigate the claims against him more further?
Since the beginning of this matter, we have been at pains to explain that. If you study and scrutinize the first two complaints into this matter, there is no reference at all to the involvement of politicians. In fact, even the much talked about provisional report itself, it does not in any way refer to the involvement of politicians. So she investigated what she was given, and she had found upon arriving in office that the investigation was already concluded. But people will believe whatever they want to believe.
Opa, this is a statement that's just been brought to my attention. I presume that you've seen it. I'm not quite sure when today you released it, but it's a statement about a Western Cape High Court decision. This is in the matter between the Public Protector, Advocate Mkhwebane, and the Democratic Alliance. They've sought to compel her to deliver proof that she worked for the State Security Agency. From what I understand, the courts have ruled in her favour.
Yes, the Public Protector is elated at the fact that the Western Cape High Court dismissed with costs that application by the Democratic Alliance. Actually, the DA had wanted that the court to compel the Public Protector to produce for their inspection a copy of her application for the position she previously occupied at the State Security Agency and confirm or show the confirmation of her acceptance to that particular offer. And the court felt that that information was irrelevant. The bottom line here is that the DA held a press conference in which they accused the Public Protector of being on the payroll of SSA and that she was a spy and that she was appointed to perpetuate the capture of this office by the former President Jacob Zuma. Now, when she asked them to retract that statement and apologize, they refused, and that she was left with no option but to go to the court to force them to do that. Now, when they are in court, it turns out that they don't have the evidence to back up their claims, and that's when they then asked the court to compel her to produce these things. And the court felt that it's a waste of the court's time.
Segalwe, do appreciate the time at short notice. Thank you very much indeed. Spokesperson for the Public Protector's Office here on The Full.